Okay, online students, before we start session we'll start in 10 minutes, but before that just to see about the project that I have given in the last sessions of Core Java. I think everyone, can you all hear me? So I gave the project for you, like create a student database project. The database need not be always like data Oracle and all. You can use that through the files also. So what you have to create one student class which will store the student attributes ID, name, age, and courses. You can take it as a bean class. You know, right? Getters and setters we created in beginning, yes. In the same way, course class which will have course id, course name, and the credits. And then teacher class which will have teacher id and teacher name and courses they taught. This is one database class, means which will store it through files or collections. Manaki collections నేర్చుకున్నాం కదా, list set. So use those things. Database where student records, course records, and teacher records are stored. Ante ikkada you need not use a database JDBC and all. Here use the collection framework list or files or whatever it is to store the data. మనం లిస్ట్ యాడ్ చేసి లిస్ట్ లో స్టోర్ చేయొచ్చు కదా టెంపరీగా. స్టోర్ ఎందుకు రిమూవ్ అవుతుంది? ఒక్కసారి యాడ్ చేసి డిస్ప్లే చేయమంటున్నాం అంతే. ఆ, అంత అవసరం లేదు. జస్ట్ మల్టిపుల్ స్టూడెంట్స్ తీసుకున్న లిస్ట్ లోకి యాడ్ అయిపోతాయి కదా. లిస్ట్ డాట్ యాడ్ అన్నప్పుడు స్టోర్ అవుతాయి కదా. సో ఆ లిస్ట్ లో నుంచి డిస్ప్లే చేయండి. ఓకే, మీకు ఒకసారి సొల్యూషన్ చూపిస్తాను. ఇంకా మనం స్టోరేజ్ కి డేటాబేస్ నేర్చుకోలేదు కదా. ఇది మీరు నేర్చుకున్న దాని వరకే నేను చెప్పాను. జస్ట్ యూ కెన్ డూ దిస్ ప్రాజెక్ట్ ఆన్ వాట్ ఎవర్ యూ హ్యావ్ లెర్న్డ్. Okay, see that solution. I will just show the solution also for you. Project also I executed. I will show that also later. Okay, first create like this one student class. Okay, so student ID. You use one constructor to pass the data. Okay, and you use getters and setters to read the data. Understood? Got it. And then here you have to add few methods to remove, add, and all. In course, you write constructor for the courses, course get ID, get name, and all. And you override the method. In the database class, create three lists. One is for student, one is for course, and one is for teachers. And you add it like this dot students new array list. For 3 you create 3 array lists. Directly you can write here, but I created variables and took one constructor and created. And we are adding student, removing student, and add course, remove course. Like this we have created. This is our database class. Understood? Just from the main class we are passing the data, like a course and the student, whatever you would. When you say add course, it has to be added and it has to be displayed. All whatever you are adding, those things are added and displayed. Here you need not take JDBC connection and store permanently and all, just for temporary purpose. Okay, and see one thing, in the main student class file there is a small change. In student class file we are creating courses. What is that? Every student will take course now. So we created one student class in that ID, name, and age. Here we have created an object for which class? Course. But the return type is what? List, array list, or any list. That means it can store any type of data you can store. So here we are reading id, name, and age. And after that, for the courses what you are passing, this dot courses is equal to what? New array list. Only for the courses you are passing what? Array list. This is one constructor because it's not a single value, no, multiple courses are there. That's why. And set id, set name, this is common. And only for the courses we are writing like get courses and set courses. For that also just add. ఇవన్నీ మీకు ఆటోమేటిక్గా వస్తాయి ఇక్కడ వరకు. తర్వాత యాడ్ కోర్సెస్కి వచ్చేసరికి కోర్సెస్ డాట్ యాడ్ courses dot remove, and then toString method will display all those things. ఓకే. సో రిమూవ్ అనే మెథడ్ మనకు తెలుసు కదా, ఎరే లిస్ట్ లో ఉంది. యాడ్ అంటే ఏమవుతుంది, యాడ్ అవుతుంది. రిమూవ్ అంటే రిమూవ్ అవుతుంది. సో అట్లా మీరు డేటాబేస్ అంటే డేటాబేస్ కనెక్షన్ ఇంకా నేను చెప్పలేదు కదా, అందుకే ముందే ఇచ్చేసాను నేను. సో ఓన్లీ కోర్ కాన్సెప్ట్స్ తో చేస్తే చాలు. కలెక్షన్ ఫ్రేమ్ వర్క్ లాస్ట్ గా మీరు యూజ్ చేసే కాన్సెప్ట్ అందులో. స్టార్ట్ చేయండి క్రియేట్ చేయటం. ఓకే. హెల్ప్ నేను మార్నింగ్ మీరు ఉంటే కనుక 11:30 టు 12:15 ఫ్రీ ఉంటాను, లేదా 2:30 టు 3:30 ఫ్రీ ఉంటాను. మీరు వచ్చి అడిగితే నేను అది ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తాను ప్రాజెక్ట్. లేదా ఈ ప్రాజెక్ట్ నేను మెంటర్కి కూడా ఇస్తాను, సో దట్ అతను కూడా మీకు కావాలంటే డౌట్ ఉంటే ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తాను. మెయిన్ క్లాస్ ఇంకొకటి తీసుకొని దాని నుంచి పాస్ చేయాలి డేటా. యాక్చువల్లీ కొంచెం సింపులే, మీరేమి కోడింగ్ పెద్ద లాజిక్ రాయక్కర్లేదు, అన్ని గెటర్ సెటర్ మెథడ్సే రాసేస్తుంది. ఓన్లీ మీరు యూ హ్యావ్ టు కాల్ అండ్ పాస్ ద డేటా. క్లియర్? Okay, so online students, I have just explained about the project that I have given in the last session. All of you see that database class means you use collection framework for the database class, not required any other classes and all, like JDBC connection which I have started yesterday, that is not required. Okay, yes. Okay, online students, Pavan Kalyan, are you new student?
Yeah, I'm a student.
Yes, okay, fine. So I was just waiting for everyone to log in. So I just revised the core Java concepts. Okay, so we can start now. Okay, in the yesterday's, do you have any prior knowledge of any database connection concepts?
Yeah, I have a little bit knowledge.
Okay, okay, yesterday someone joined. I don't remember name. Okay, fine. Okay, see all of you, in the last session we have discussed about like what is database and how we are going to connect about with the database and all. So we have seen like what are the modules also that you are going to learn with the database. In the advanced Java, that you are going to learn about like what is JDBC, servlets, and then what, JSP, through which you can create what, enterprise applications, right? Any web applications which will work on internet with the help of server. These are the things we have seen. And using JDBC, Java database connectivity, where we can store information in the tables format. So here the Oracle database will store the data in which format? Table format. So everyone have already completed SQL. So anyone are there without knowing SQL knowledge? Pavan Kalyan, do you have basic knowledge of SQL database, any
Yeah,
database?
basic knowledge I have SQL.
Okay, good. So now here, okay, so here we are going to use the SQL queries for connecting to the database. Okay, for connecting to what? Database. Now here we have seen in yesterday, for connecting through JDBC, what is required? What are the drivers we require? We said we are going to connect to the database. How we are connecting? With the help of what? With the help of drivers. So with the help of driver, like when we want to come from one location to another location, I said we use transport, right, as a bridge. In the same way, we require driver for connecting from our Java application to the database. There are so many types of drivers available, like sun.jdbc odbc driver, and then what, say what is the second driver? Native driver, and then we also have like network protocol driver, and then last one is thin driver. Each driver has its own limitations, so that we have discussed about that also, like what are the limitations for each and every driver. And also we have seen like sun.jdbc is not implemented now because additionally odbc driver has to be installed on our pc. That is one of the limitation we have. And network protocol is good, but we have to install middleware server. If the client is not ready to use that, it is also difficult to use what network. But one more important thing is like it is costly when compared to other drivers. And mostly now all the companies are using what type of driver? Thin driver, oracle driver. Every company have their own, but it is what? Thin driver. So there are so many drivers. If you are using MySQL, there will be different. If you are using Postgre database, that is different. It depends upon database you are using. But whatever database you are using, the connection steps are common. What are common? Connection steps are common. So to work with all these drivers and databases, I told we have to download one jar file. What is that? OJDBC jar file. There are different versions for your database jar file. I have already shared the notes also. So in that the jar file names are there. When you go to the internet, I showed yesterday, right? I'm just revising that. There you have to type OJDBC jar, which is compatible for your Java version. You can check and you can download it and keep. Okay. So why we need that jar file? As I said yesterday, to work with Java, we need JDK library, which will give us all related API, that is classes and interfaces. Now, in the same way here also, we need one jar file to connect to database. Yes or no? These database connection steps, whatever classes and interfaces we are using, those are not available with what? JDK library. So additionally, we need JDBC API. What we require? JDBC API. So for that, we need to download what? OJDBC jar file. So with that OJDBC jar file, we are going to use all the classes and interfaces. So that will provide us what package? Java.sql package. In this, there are so many classes and interfaces for our database connection. What is the first step? You have to know load and register driver. What is that load and register driver? How we have to load it? Using command called class dot for name. Here you will be providing what? Driver name. Oracle.driver, JDBC Oracle driver. I will tell what is the fourth type of driver. So using that driver, first you will be what? Registering what? Driver. And then after registering driver, you have to establish what? Connection. So how we are going to establish the connection? There is a connection interface. With that connection, con is equal to driver manager is our bridge which is connecting to our database. So this driver manager class has a method called what? Get connection. Driver manager dot what? Get connection. Here you are providing what? URL, username, and then what? Password. URL means, as I said, the path that where your driver is located. What is the path of your driver? So for everything there will be path address. No, if you want to go to any location also, there will be a path location address. In the same way, this uniform resource locator for your driver URL will be there. Okay, so when you install Oracle 21 database, there will be one port number, address, everything that you have to provide in this what? URL. In the username, while you are installing your database, either Oracle or MySQL, every database is having what? Username and password. So you will be providing the username and then what? Password. So now when you provide the username, then you establish the connection. Means you connected, you have given a bridge. A bridge is established. Next, what is the procedure? Once the bridge has connected, you have to pass data through it. Yes or no? From our Java application to the database, we need to, what we have to do? We have to pass the data. So how we are going to pass the data? Through the SQL statements. Yes or no? In database, we learned what SQL queries: create table, table name, select star from table name, inserting the data, deleting the data, updating the data. These are all queries. Did we do or not? So those all queries we will be executing through what? Statement interface. What is that? Statement interface. For connection, we are using connection interface. For executing our queries, whatever we want, we use what interface? Statement interface. Now there are three types of statements. What are they? Statement, prepared statement, and then callable statement. These are the three types of statements we have: statement, prepared statement, and then what? Callable statement. Statement is used for any simple queries like create, insert, everything you can use it, or select anything. But here, prepared statement is used for what? Pre-compiled SQL queries. Pre-compiled SQL queries means what? When you are inserting data into the table, directly if you are inserting, you can use statement insert into some id, name, address, and you will provide values: id1, name Likita, address Manikonda. Like that you can insert directly. But when you're developing a real time application, a person will enter data in the text boxes. Is that static? No, right? Dynamically it changes. No, every new user comes, they will enter data. Again, new user comes, they will enter data. Yes or no? So that data has to be fetched and stored into the table. So for that purpose, we will use what? Question mark. This is a pre-compiled query. Every time you run it again, this query, in the place of question mark, the values are taken. Okay, the query is already compiled, we are using it. Such queries are called what? Pre-compiled queries. When you want to dynamically pass the data, when you run the application, or when from keyboard, or every time a new value, then you have to use what statement? Prepared statement. So statement is used for general queries. Prepared statement is used for what? Pre-compiled SQL queries. And then callable statement. Callable statement is used for what? Callable statement, CST. We can create any object name. We use callable statement for what purpose? Do you remember? Anyone from online? Do you remember why we use callable statement? Yesterday I just told. Anyone? Yes, callable statement is used for calling procedures and functions. So, callable statement. I just told, but I did not write there. Callable statement is used for calling what? Procedures. Stored or just procedures also you can tell. Procedures and what? Functions. Got it? Yes. In Oracle, in PLSQL, there are some procedures and functions, like samely how we have in Java also. In core Java, we have functions, no? Set of instructions we write and call it. So such function which is there in database, you want to call it, then you have to use what statement? Callable statement. So this is the second step we have. We have to load and register driver, establish connection, and then what? Statement. First we have to create the statement. After creating the statement can be created in these three ways, depending upon our requirement. And the next one we have. So this is creating the statement. A. I'm making the points here B and then C. T. Ways you can. And then next, you have to execute the query. What you have to do? Execute. That means you are processing the result. What you are doing? Processing the result. That means, okay, connection is established, query you have to, you wrote, but that query has to be executed, no? Yes or no? For that purpose, we have to process the result. The processing of the result will be done by what command? Execute command. In this also we have again three ways to execute the commands. Okay, the first one is here: execute query. What we have? Execute query. And the second one is execute update, and the third one is execute. These are the three methods we have. Like how we have statement, prepared statement, callable statement. In that, these three are methods. What are these three methods? That's why I wrote with small letter. These are like classes and interfaces. So we wrote in what? Capital letter. But this is what? Method. Method always starts with what? Lowercase. So if there is two words in the method, next word starting should be what? Capital. Remember that. So now execute update we use for generally inserting, deleting, updating those queries. When you want to do it, then you will be using what? Execute update. Execute query is mainly used for what? Select statement. For which statement? Select statement. But it is confused, ma'am. I can't remember execute query or execute update. Then you can use execute for what? Any query. All queries you can be using what? Execute. Execute can be used for any type of query. Understood? Got it? These are the three ways to process the result. And finally, we will close the connections, everything that we have created. Got it? So these are the main important steps, main important interfaces we have. Connection interface, we have statement, prepared statement, and callable statement. And after that, to execute those things, we have what? Execute query. Execute query. Understood? Clear everyone? Online students? Practically, I have not shown anything. Just yesterday's class, I elaborately for 1 hour we discussed about all the drivers and all. Today, I just revised them for few minutes and I told about the execute statements. Any questions or doubts from online students? Namrata, I think you missed yesterday's session. Is it clear? Namrata, Shamini, Vijay, Pavan Kalyan, is it clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay. Others also who missed the session yesterday, you can go through the recording. Pavan Kalyan, you also you can request for yesterday's recording so that you can go through it once and let me know if you have any doubts.
Yeah, sure. I will up.
Okay, fine. So these are the steps that you have to follow. Okay. Now let us write one simple example to connect to the database and execute it. Okay. So just we'll see how to create a table from our Java application. Okay. So for that, let us open our Eclipse that we have already created. Eclipse, I think this is a core one. Yes. So these all we have done in the core Java. In the collection, there is some error. What is it? Okay. Okay, so this we have created. So now, okay, this is not our. We let us move to the switch the workspace to core. There is a document also where I can show about the database. I think yesterday I have shared the document also. Okay, these are the steps what I have explained for the connection. So first we have to connect. In connect we have to register, load the driver, and then establish what? Connection. This is the first step. And then we have to write the statement through query like create table, insert, delete, update, like that. And then you have to process the result by executing it. And then finally we have to close the connection. These are the steps that we have to follow. So loading, registering the driver, and establishing the connection. So now let us see the example. Okay, so let us go to the file new. I'm going to create one new project for our Java project for advance. So I'm going to write like advance project. Okay, so we have created. For basic core, we have seen all these things, arrays and all we created. Okay, so now in the advance, we are going to create one class. So here I said, right, what? When you are connecting to the database, we require the OJDBC jar file to be configured. So let us do that also. Okay, so let us first create one new class, and I'm going to create the package name like a JDBC, and then class name create table. Just I'm using with the main method. Okay, just so one class has been created. Okay, now what we will do here, there is some library which is added here. There are some libraries, so many files are there, but there is no OJDBC file. Is it there? No, it is not there. So what we have to do, we have to configure it. So how to configure it? Let us see how we are going to configure. Okay, so let us see the process of configuration. You can right click on the project or JRE wherever you want. Right click on this and you have to go to where? Build path. What is that? Build path. Whatever project you have created, just right click on that and say build path and go to what? Configure build path. Then you will be getting this folder. Then click on class path and click on what? Add external jars. So here add the jar file of OJDBC wherever, whatever you downloaded. Okay, so 8 or whatever it is there in downloads, you can go to the downloads and select the jar file that you have there. So you can type OJDBC jar. You can find different versions that you have downloaded and then select that. Click open, then apply or apply and close. Then the jar file is added. Now you can see in the JRE OJDBC. Okay, one second. It will be added in the referenced libraries. What is that? OJDBC 14 dot jar file. Is it added or not? Added. So now that will be available. So let us write the code now in the create table. So now what is the first step I said we have to do? We have to load and register the driver. Yes or no? First step is we have to load and register the driver, and then we have to establish the connection. So what is the driver and everything that you have to be loading? So I will just show you the driver that you name that you are going to use it. So we are going to use here the Oracle driver, but for that we have to load it class dot for name, and then here we are going to use a driver. What is that? Oracle driver. So this you have to put it in the double quotes, class dot for name, and then this has to be loaded, and you have to also import what has to be imported here. What package we need to import? SQL package. So let us import that also, java dot sql dot star. So this also have to be imported. So still it is giving that it is not accessible. So we have to make the jar file still other configured. We'll do that. And then next, what is the next step that we have to do? Establish what? Connection. Load and register the driver, and then you have to establish what? Connection. So for that connection you have to use what? Connection con. Any name you give, no problem, is equal to driver manager dot get connection, so that it will show you suggestions if the SQL package is properly imported. Okay, then it will show you the suggestion driver manager dot get connection. And then here you have to provide what? Three things. What are they? URL, and then what? Username, and then what? Password. Okay, these are the three things that you have to provide: URL, username, and password. So how you will be knowing the URL? By default some URL will be there, but the port number will be different. Port number will be sometimes different. Okay, if you are downloading Oracle 21 Express Edition, the service name of your URL will be XE. What it will be there? XE. Or sometimes it will be ORCL. I will also show you how to see that. If you are not knowing, we can also see how to see that. So we are getting an error, so you have to import connection. Okay, SQL, yes, it has been imported. So just I'm removing this. Okay, so now I will be providing the URL, username, and then what? Password, three things. So what is the URL of this? I'm just going to write the URL. This is the URL. See here, we are using Oracle driver, no? JDBC colon Oracle colon thin driver. Which driver we are using? Thin driver. That is just name. It is common for fourth type of driver that we are using. At the rate localhost. This is the port number of the your database, and this is the service name. What is this called? Port number, and this is what? Service name. So this will be available in your Oracle JDBC folder. Where it will be, I will just show you. Okay, in my computer C drive, there will be app folder by default. For everyone, it will be there in product or 21C. Here you will be having, or you will be having one public folder also where you can get it. I have actually little changed it. No, not this. Okay, I will just share you the link of TNS folder. It will be available actually for you all. I have just installed Oracle 19C also, so it has been changed. For you all, there will be an app folder. Okay, in this app folder, if you keep on clicking, you will get the product folder also. There will be a file name with the name TNS. What is that? TNS. So in this TNS folder, you will be having all the details of it. What all we have? details. I'll share the location in the Google Classroom. In this, you will be finding the service name of your database. Okay, is it XE or ORCL? It will be there, but maximum it will be like 1521 and it will be XE. What is that? 1521 and XE, but I have changed it to 1522, so I am using 1522. But mostly if you are installing Oracle 21 Express Edition, it will be this one. Okay, so this is your URL, and the next one is the username and password. What will be the username? What is the username? System. That is common, no? Password will change. Why are you thinking system is the username? Yes or no? Online students, we have executed all SQL queries. No, what is the username? System. And what is the password? Password is something whatever you enter during the installation. So whatever password you are giving, that you have to give here the password, so that password you have to mention here. Okay, so you can also change the password of the database also. Okay, when you are logging in, if you forget the password also, you can change the password of the process, that you can whatever you want. So here it is telling either you have to throw declaration or surround it by what? Try or catch blocks. So what is this? Why we are getting? I said there are two types of exceptions. Now what are they? Checked and unchecked exceptions. Checked means what? The programmer will be forced to handle the exception. So here the programmer is forcing. We are compulsory have to handle the exception either by using throws keyword or by using what? Try or catch block. So whatever you want, you can choose. If you want, you can write this connection statement between try and catch block. Okay, so you will give the connection. Okay, so we wrote this. Okay, connection con is equal to driver manager dot get connection URL username and then what? Password. Got it? So we have written. And then next, what is the next step? I told you we have to create what? Statement we have to create. So that statement all are present in SQL only. So statement you have to write. So suppose instead of using star, I am writing like SQL dot connection only. Okay, so connection, there is no error. Okay, again it is showing for what? Driver manager. So driver manager I have to import. Now I'm going to write like statement. Statement st is equal to con dot create statement. First what we have to do? Con dot create statement. So again it is giving error, so we have to import what? Statement interface also. Here, so we have established the connection and we have created this connection. Next what we have to do? We created statement. Next we have to execute the query. We have to execute the query. Okay, any questions online students? Let me know. That you have to write stmt dot execute. So you can use execute query or execute update, whatever you want you will be using. So you whenever you I want to give execute, you can execute, write execute here, and here you will be writing what? Query. So table create chalante, what is the query? Create table, and then you have to write what? Table name. So suppose whatever we are writing here, like I am creating like full stack, or I'm creating like advanced Java, and then I'm creating the ID. So advanced Java for student ID or something, and I'm giving data type number and size as what? 6. And then student name. Okay, you can create the student name and data type char or varchar, which can be the combination, and then I'm giving the name 10. Okay, and then student marks. I'm writing. And this is also I'm giving data type as what? Number and then 8. So like this we have created the query. Execute and we are writing the query and end with what? Semicolon. So create table name and we wrote all these things. Now if I wanted to add some constraint, how to add it? I don't want the ID should be duplicate or I don't want to be empty. So what I have to give? Primary key constraint. What is that? Primary key. So for this, if you want that, then you have to provide what? Primary key. So let us create table like this. So what from next, we will be for creating one bank application project. By the time we complete JDBC, servlets, and JSP, one full bank application we will be creating. After that, one more project you will do. But as of now I will teach basically how to create, insert, delete. Then I will give you the tables that you have to create for your bank project. Okay. So now the table has to be created like this. Execute and then you wrote. You can create execute query or whatever it is. You are just I'm writing execute. So then if the table is created, then I wanted to give a message system.out.println table created. What you have to do? Table created. That means table successfully created. If there is any exception, that will be caught here. Okay. And then next. Is anything missing? Closing. Close we have to do now. After processing, it won't give you any error. It won't give you what? Any error. But you have to close it to release the memory occupied by it. So whatever connection object we have taken, con dot what? Close. After table creation, again we took what? Statement object, st dot what? Close. So these are the steps. These are the basic steps that we have to create. Basic steps that you have to create. Okay. క్లోజ్ అన్నప్పుడు అంటే ఫర్ సపోజ్ డేటా ఆక్యుపై అయింది మెమరీలో అది దానంతటికి ఒక హాఫ్ మెమరీ ఆక్యుపై చేస్తుంది క్లోజ్ అన్నప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది అంటే అంటే వాడినట్టుంది మళ్ళీ వాడుకోవచ్చు అంటే మెమరీ ఫ్రీ అయిపోతుంది. ఇప్పుడు ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేసినప్పుడు ఇది రన్ అయ్యి డేటా వేరు దాంట్లో 4 యూస్ చేస్తుంది రెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద 4 క్లోజ్ అన్నప్పుడు అది మళ్ళీ యూటిలైజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు నెక్స్ట్ ప్రాసెస్ చేసేదాన్ని ఆల్రెడీ ఆక్యుపై చేసింది రిమూవ్ చేయడం అంటే ఇప్పుడు డేటాబేస్ లో డేటా స్టోర్ అయిపోతుంది, అదేమవ్వదు, రిమూవ్ అయిపోతుంది, యూజ్ చేస్తాం అంతే. సో అందులోనే డేటా మనం ఆక్యుపై చేసిన డేటా ఫ్రీ అవుతుంది అనమాట. సో దట్ మనం ఆ మెమరీని మళ్ళీ యూజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు, వేరే డేటా స్టోర్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఇప్పుడు ఇది టెంపరీయే కదా, డేటా ఇక్కడ పర్మనెంట్గా స్టోర్ అవుతుంది. కానీ జేడీబీసీ చేసేటప్పుడు డేటాబేస్లో పర్మనెంట్గా స్టోర్ అవుతుంది, ఆ డేటా అలాగే ఉంటుంది. కానీ మనం ఏ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేసేటప్పుడు ఈ కనెక్షన్ డ్రైవర్ ఇవన్నీ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు ప్రతి ప్రతి ఆబ్జెక్ట్కి ఒక మెమరీ అలొకేట్ అయి ఉంటుంది. ఓకే, ఆ మెమరీ అంతా ఫ్రీ అయిపోతుంది, అది చెప్పేది. ఓకే, సో లైక్ దిస్ వీ కెన్ డూ ఇట్. So I will also tell you, if you want, someone asked me like they wanted to change the password if they forget any password for the database. Okay, many people. So when you forget or if there is any error that you want to change the password of your database, so how you have to do it? Go to the SQL command prompt. So here, okay, so not general command prompt, SQL command prompt. So I think it's already open. I will just commit and exit. Okay, so now what you have to do here is you have to go to search, and how we will open? SQL command line, that you have to open here. And what is the process you have to type? You forgot the username or something, then you can type like sys as sysdba, you can type. Then for this there is no password required. When you type this, anyone can log in without what? password as a database administrator. So here you can change the password. How? Show user you have to type. What you have to type? Show user. So this is how you have to type. Then the user, it is showing as what? System. Then you have to type this password for the system. So PASSW, and then you have to type what? System. Then it will ask what is the new password you want to enter. Is it visible, everyone? So what is the new password that you want to enter? Then that new password you can type. See, it won't show the dots or stars also. Don't think that password is not typed. Again, retype the password. So I was typing the retype the password. So now it is telling password has been changed. So we will just wait and then again reopen it with the new password. So I'm just opening it again, and then I'm going to write like username is system, and then the password which one I have given now. So it has been logged in. Okay, this is the process where you have to type the password if you forgot it. Okay, so someone has asked, I just wanted to show that. Okay, so now we are going to execute the code, but before that, I changed the password. No, so I will be updating that password. Okay, so I have given just Siri. This is a password. So now I will run the code. Okay, let us see what is the error we got here. Okay, we will see the exception that we got. No matching protocol, it was telling. So let us solve this. But before that, all of you just take down the procedure I have told you. I will be back in few minutes. Okay, just all of you take down the procedure of registering the driver, establishing the connection and everything. Okay, just I'll be back in 2 minutes. Online students also. ODBC Oracle అదే 14 వర్షన్ డౌన్లోడ్ చేశాను 16 MB అదేమి ఎక్కువ సైజు ఉండదు నేను ఎక్కువ ఉంటుంది దాని మీద డబుల్ క్లిక్ చేస్తున్నా అది కూడా ఓపెన్ అవ్వట్లేదు ఏమి అది జార్ ఫైల్ అదేం ఓపెన్ అవ్వదు ఓపెన్ ఓకే సి so here it is telling error because the jar file is not compatible with the version we are using with the Oracle version. Actually, with the Oracle itself, we'll get the jar file. So we have to check which jar file is compatible with our version. So that also I will just show you once again. So already I have used some jar files so that we can use as per the configuration. So I will show you the procedure here. So sometimes we will get this error when the JDBC version is not supporting. Means that the jar file is not compatible with our Eclipse or maybe JDK or whatever it is. Sometimes if it is not compatible, then you will be getting such error. So for that purpose, we need to just change the jar file. So generally maybe for this version 21C and the JDK, we have to use the jar file like OJDBC 8 or 11. So whatever that I have just downloaded, but we need to configure that also. Okay, with this, this is core that we have. So we can copy or you can download it also. Okay, you can download it and you can if it you can paste under your jar files or you can configure it directly. So if it is not pasted, okay, I will just do it with control V. Okay, so let us go to that location where it is there present. So in full stack 9, wherever I have already downloaded that also, it might be available in downloads also. So in which project I have added, so you can go to that location and you can add it in the crude operations. So here we have it. Flip. Okay, I'm going to copy this jar files. You can just copy them or you can right click on that and you can build path also. Both the things you can do it. Now here in C Likita folder, we have created the core for us. In that, I think advanced. So here we can paste it. I'm going to paste it here and later we will be using it. So OJDBC jar files or we will directly configure it. So here we have, okay, those are added. Let us go to the core and here I have added the jar files. Once you have added it, you can just refresh it for adding the jar files that we got. Okay, so let us push this here, the jar files into referenced location. You can just shift. So all of you see once again the procedure that we are downloading here. So in this, wherever you have downloaded the version full stack, you can download it in the downloads folder. Since I have in another project, I am just going to that. Otherwise, you can provide that in whatever folder you have. Okay. So now here, what is the project I have taken? Full stack 9. So you can go to that location, Eclipse workspace, and then full stack 9. And here in this, whatever we have here, include SRC main, we will, I have pasted here. So since I have available here, I'm just using them. 11 and 8, both I am copying. And then I'm going to apply and then click on apply and close. So I have got it. I don't want it here. I can just remove them. So now it may work it. So sometimes there will be no jar files availability. So you can save this and let us again create it. Okay, still it is facing an issue. Okay, no matching protocol. So I will run the same file here also. We have JDBC example basic create table. Okay, I'll just solve this. Maybe the password issue wrong. I have changed it to password, so it is not connecting. So we will just check it. The procedure was same, only because of the jar file you may be getting that bug. Okay, so we will see that in the next session how we are going to connect to the database and store. Everything process was same, jar file configuration, everything was same. Only thing is the compatibility of the jar that we have. Okay, so then when we can connect to it, and then we can establish and store or retrieve anything data you want, you can do it. Okay, so I will try with a different jar file and show you in the next session. Okay, online students, do you have any question? Is it clear about today's session, how to establish the connection and all of you try this. I will share this example also in the chat box that I have created now. Once, just to download the jar file and try at your home and let me know. Okay, you have seen the process now. Just check and let me know, all of you. Okay, so here did I comment? Okay, all of you, see if it is in double line, comment this 1521 also. Is it clear? Anyone have any issue, doubts? Ganesh, Sarita, Anusha. Is it clear, everyone? Can you please
Yeah,
reply?
yeah, clear.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Okay, then we will continue in the next session. All of you, please join by 3:45. Pavan Kalyan, you also, if possible, please join by 3:45.
Yeah, sure, I will join early.
Oh, okay.